downtown. From but usually I just
I bet.
this thing, and I'm not.
You got a lot of followers?
Not a lot of followers, but right now I've learned a few things about the algorithm, and followers is subscribers is not the biggest deal, especially now at this stage. Just to get the likes, get the likes.
Yeah.
And
It's part of Union's Open if you want to take a look.
I think I was in there just the other day.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, we can go in if you got some knowledge you want to whip on me. Yeah.
Well, I can whip some knowledge out
Let's
on
do
you
that.
right here,
Do it.
which you probably already know. So, do you know the year Union Station was built?
I'm shooting for 32.
Close, 39.
Okay.
39, yeah. And at the time, there was some debate about whether or not they should extend the local light rail, or if they should spend the money and build a big, beautiful station. The majority of the population wanted to, build up more light rail, but the important guys in LA were like, we need a big, beautiful station.
Right.
Post World War I, post World War II, built on the site of the original Chinatown. Chinatown at that time, there was the Chinese Exclusion Act.
Right.
And the largest mass lynching in the United States happened here in Chinatown.
We're opening on a bright note,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Union Station, home of the biggest lynching in the history of the nation.
1871, a mob stormed Chinatown and hung 18 Chinese Americans. So, Chinatown was also a place that, had a reputation for vice, and by the early 1910s, early 1920s, this was like the old part of LA.
Oh.
This was like the bad neighborhood.
Can we peek in there while we're talking?
Sure, yeah. And so, the city fathers were like, will you build? Pardon me?
Looking for an exit or?
No.
Just going to take a peek at the hall.
Yeah, so the city fathers at the time were like, let's kill two birds with one stone. Get rid of that terrible Chinatown and build our big, beautiful station there. So, Chinatown was moved over to where it is, which they really flung it out there away from everything.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, but a lot of people in Chinatown, they don't even know that it's new Chinatown. Did you come down here when the Netflix had the
I missed it. The art
Queen's
installation?
Gambit?
Yeah, I did not see that.
Queen's Gambit chessboard on
I heard
the
it looked
ceiling?
great.
It was awesome.
You have footage of that.
Yep.
So, by the way,
On my channel.
if you just happen to get in here, Handlebar Bike Tours is my special guest. And today, we're starting out Union Station. We're going to just walk around downtown Los Angeles, and Handlebar Bike Tours, Jen, the proprietor, owner and guide. It's fantastic. If you guys have not had a really intelligent tour of Los Angeles on a bike, Handlebar Bike Tours, find them on Instagram and on YouTube. Where else can they find you?
My website.
Yeah, Handlebar
Airbnb
Bike Tours.
Experiences. We're
Airbnb.
located at Grand Central Market.
So it's a really good way to see the.
It's kind of funny. We met 25 years ago.
Gotta tell the world this.
And
I'm only 26 years old.
at the time, you were a tour guide, weren't you?
Yeah, at
Now,
Universal
25
Studios.
years later, I'm a tour guide.
There you go. I ruined your life, and it slowly infected you.
When we first met, I was like, I idolized that guy, Al Underwood. If I could only get
Wow.
2 tour guides.
I owe somebody some money for that.
I can't wait for Tracks to open up again.
Trax
So-
is a restaurant or a bar?
Bar.
Yeah, I
really
remember
cool
that.
Art Deco bar and Tracks restaurant over there.
Yeah, I remember when they closed. That was kind of a surprise.
Well,
I'd
just
been around.
before COVID, a couple bartender friends of mine, Chris and Chrissy, used to work at the Must,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think of the name of the other bar, the one that's in Spring Street Arcade.
Oh, on a brain fart right now.
Yeah. Anyway, they've been bartending all over LA. Finally purchased their own bar, and then COVID hits.
Oh. And that was going to be that Trax?
Yep.
Oh,
I think they're still gonna.
I
make a
hope
go
so.
of it. I think
They'll do it. They're good.
You know, everybody's pretty lenient with the rent these days to try and keep people in
Yeah.
business.
Somebody got a deal on palm trees this week. Look at that. I noticed, here's some weird Hollywood trivia for you. I saw a friend take a photograph of the backside. I don't know what the name of the street is, but on Vine Street there's an old hotel. You know where APL is and Yoshinoya, what is that fancy sushi place on the corner of Hollywood and Vine? There's an old hotel next to that. Well, somebody went on the next block and took a photograph from behind it. It looks like a oasis. It's full of palm trees, and I mean full of palm trees. I couldn't understand what the hell this is. I've been around that area so many times, and I looked at an aerial view from the maps, and there's 20 big ass palm trees planted in a spot right there, plus other big trees like this, and it's not much bigger than this space on the corner.
Yeah.
Dumb tree trivia from Wonderstash.
Well, that's the fun part of walking Los Angeles or biking Los Angeles.
Yeah.
You find all this stuff that, you know, people come from all over the world and they spend the whole time in the car.
Yeah.
And you miss all the.
What's up,
secret
Energy
spots.
Crystal? Thanks for being here. Let's say hi to my friend. Oh, let's see if I can hit this spot. Hello, the lone survivor. We're in downtown Los Angeles. You probably heard. So anyhow, letting us ramble on. We're at Alvaro Street.
Yeah.
Talk about the heart of the old village.
Alvaro Street.
This is LA, man.
Well, the founding spot for Los Angeles, as it's known, Los
Yeah.
Angeles, although the Chumash and Tongva tribes were already here.
Right.
Just didn't call it Los Angeles.
Would you be interested in a handbag? I've got some here.
I'm tempted to check it, you know, you never know. Might be $500.
Might be a handful of poop. Yeah, it's a gamble. It's a great gamble. Speaking of gambles, hey, we're looking at we're crossing the street at Fire Station number 1. I love that old building.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I'm sorry, I'm not as academically charming as
No?
you are.
Oh, sure you are. You're a tour guide.
I'm like the anti-tour guide now. I was like, I take everything that everybody did formally and I just say,
Go right over
yeah,
there.
that goes out the window. How do I want to talk about it? It's going well. We're at approaching 75 degrees today in
Oh,
downtown LA.
beautiful.
There's not a cloud anywhere. And I have got lots of sunscreen on today.
Me too.
Daddy's gonna need it.
So Alvaro Street's pretty quiet right now. Usually it's a lot
Yeah.
more packed than this.
This is a beehive of activity typically.
Yeah. And unfortunately, plaza is still closed. It's been closed throughout COVID.
It's hard to believe I've been climbing around this stuff for over about 55 years.
So let's come over here. I'll
So
show you the-
people say this is the oldest street. I hear people say that. This is the oldest street in Los Angeles.
That actually is the alleyway. Los Angeles Street, right here, is the oldest street in Los Angeles, the one we just crossed.
Oh, how
over.
about that?
Yeah.
That's good to know.
It
Yeah, that
wasn't-
was an alley.
Yeah, it wasn't until the 20s when Christine Sterling, who also helped to build the new Chinatown, decided we got to preserve our Los Angeles history.
Yeah.
She bought a Via Adobe, the oldest home.
Right, right.
And she
Should
got
we look at that?
everybody on Main and Los Angeles to turn their houses towards the alley where they previously
Uh-huh.
dumped their piss and turn it into a,
A little Market Street.
I don't say that on the tour.
Yeah, this is bonus material, folks. You don't get this on any ordinary tour or any specialized tour like Jen's Handlebar bike tours. But when you're out with Wonder Stash Walks, we'll tell you, we'll tell you the dirt.
It makes you think dirty. Okay.
It's not my fault.
So you see that guy over there?
Yes,
Do you know who that is?
that is not George Washington. I can tell you that.
Nope.
I'm guessing we're looking at one of the early Californios. No,
Close. King Carlos,
Ah.
King of Spain.
that guy. Why
in
is he
the
here?
Late
And
1700s.
why is he in downtown Los Angeles?
Well, he told his governor of
Oh,
Felipe Neve over there, who's a lot shorter. King Carlos looks like me. Felipe Neve looks like you.
yeah, he is a little tyke, isn't he? He's probably a
Yeah.
kid.
So Felipe Neve was running the San Gabriel mission over in San Gabriel. That's another spot I recommend people go and
Yeah, the
see.
one that burned.
Yep, one that burned.
Broke my heart.
Yeah. So King Carlos said, Felipe Neve, get some people together, go over, found another town. Call it
Oh, I see.
La Reina de Nuestra
Yeah.
de Los Angeles.
You got it. Is that all of it?
No,
Yeah, La
I
Reina.
feel like there's more.
We're gonna have to go. Let's go find out. I know exactly where we can find out. It's right here. I love this.
Whatever you do, don't aim it at the donkey. People get
Oh.
really mad when you get the
Yeah.
freebies at the donkey.
Yeah. Don't aim it at, which is always a policy I've had for years. Don't aim it at the donkey. Make your own jokes, folks. It just makes sense, you know? It's good common sense. Oh, there you go. Yes, the original name of this city was El Pueblo de la Reina de Los Ángeles, Felipe de Nieve.
You know, Felipe Neve is the little guy over there.
Oh, Felipe Nieve.
Yeah, he's
That's-
the governor of
Nieve,
San
is that
Gabriel.
snow? No, snow has an I in it. El Pueblo de la Reina de Los Ángeles. Yeah, LA is so much easier.
Yeah.
So much easier.
Yeah. But I want to show you something else.
Please, let's go. I'm not done.
Because,
Still got lots of battery.
so like I said, Tonga and Chumash were already here. Nobody wanted to come over and found Los Angeles. Felipe Neve made them. But something a lot of people don't know, it's Black History Month. The majority of the settlers of Los Angeles, the pobladores, the majority of them were either black or mixed race with African heritage. There were 44 original pobladores, 26 of them were either African or mixed race heritage. So I want to show you a couple of the
Yeah,
families.
please.
Manuel Camaro, he and his wife were mixed race. And the reason we know this is because the Spanish, you know, they had the caste system and they kept excellent records. So they wrote down everybody who came and, you know, which caste they were in. And there's a disc for each one of the families that came.
This is fascinating. I had no idea.
Yeah, a lot of people had no idea.
The things you walk over all the time and you don't even notice.
And the reason we do know it is because a woman named Miriam Matthews,
Miriam.
who was on the committee celebrating the bicentennial of Los Angeles, She was the first black woman to graduate with a library studies degree from USC.
Wow.
And she actually found out all this information. This family, the Mesa family.
And around what year was that? Or what time? What decade?
So they came here in 1781, and the bicentennial 1981. And so Miriam Matthews went and dug up all of the records in Spain about the pobladores.
Oh.
And, you know, she said, hey guys, hey everybody else on the committee. Actually, most of the people who came were not Spanish. They were from all over the place. You know, they were mestizo, they were mulatto, which is, you know, extremely offensive term, which
Yeah.
comes from, we know where it comes from. But Mesa family was, Antonio Mesa and his wife were black of African descent. And we have another family. At the time, during the bicentennial, everybody was like, what? Oh, let's stick with that Spanish story.
Yeah, I see.
Actually, only two full-blooded Spaniards that founded Los Angeles. So I've been working on my Black History Month tour, although quite a lot of it, I try to incorporate everybody's history.
Yeah, that's you know, it's funny because you know, it's gonna be, it should be, and always should have been a part of all history, all months, all the time, and it just really, aside from the fact that it's the right thing to do to acknowledge everyone that had any positive contribution to building this city and its history, gives people a deeper understanding. You know, it's not just the right thing to do; it's a full history.
Yeah, so the Quintero family. Look at all
I
those
know that
kids.
name. Yeah, it got cold sometimes at night in the desert.
Spanish records and the caste system. The Quinteros were of African descent.
Oh, how about that?
Full African descent. So, you know, Black history of Los Angeles
They're it.
starts right at the start. Pio Pico house over there,
That's a historic building.
supposedly haunted. But Pio
I get so many. Is this haunted? Is that haunted? That's got to be haunted, right? And I'm like, oh, bless you. You're under 40, aren't you? You've got headspace to worry about haunted things. I said, the ghosts got to get in line before they have space in my head.
You know what's haunted is that Imperial Western Brewery that we didn't
Oh,
look
is that
at
right?
over in Union Station.
Yeah, the new brewery.
I was sitting at the bar one day and just sitting there by myself, a glass flew off the shelf.
What?
The bartender's there and he's like, I was like, did you just see that? And he's like, yeah, it happens all the time. I think it's the ghost of the Harvey girls who were forced to live there.
Oh,
in the
yeah, that's
restaurant
right.
they worked
Yeah,
at.
they're probably pissed off and throwing stuff. That's a ghost story. That's amazing. A first-hand account of a ghost story.
First-hand ghost story.
But it did happen at a brewery.
Yeah, it might have just
Hello.
been, you know, a wet glass put on the shelf, but it flew off.
Got lots of answers, yeah. They probably have a little servo behind it, and they just do that. That's the show.
Yeah, that's the show.
They'll be talking about that on internet for years. No, I shouldn't poo-poo someone's ghost story or their real-life story.
Should we go?
Yes.
Where do you want to go? Should we go that way, or you want to go look at a Via Dobe?
I'm going to say ladies' choice because I'm all over this place all the time. I want to see what you like.
All
Show
right.
me what you...
All right, let's walk.
Show me what you don't like. And that's good too.
So Alvaro Street is, you know, most of these buildings are from 60s, 1870s, and fairly underutilized right now, which
Yeah.
is a shame.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like an easy way to pump a lot of money into here is get these things vital.
Church over
Revitalized.
there, Our Lady Queen of Angels,
Mm-hmm.
that has been there since the 1860s.
This is the Catholic church in downtown if you need to go.
Yeah.
This is traditional, old
If you
school.
want to have a fancy baptism, quinceañera, that's
That's-
where you want to do it. And that's what I'm really missing right now. With this place is usually full of girls running around in their beautiful quinceañera dresses and moms and dads.
Guys, what are you doing and where is here? Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry I didn't catch that earlier. We're in downtown Los Angeles, and we're taking a walking tour with the proprietor and tour guide of Handlebar Bike Tours in downtown Los Angeles, my dear friend Jen. And so I would encourage you to look up Handlebar Bike Tours. But I'm getting a lot of information. One thing is, people who love history love sharing history. And all the stuff that's packed up into my head is completely different than stuff packed up in your head. And that's why I like going wherever the hell you want to go. Because who cares if I've seen it a million times? You know stuff that I don't even think about. And that's what we're doing with Jen.
I learn stuff every day too.
Yeah, keep that.
Come on the tours and tell me a little tidbit of information.
Keep that brain bucket open.
On the tour.
And I'm doing this right now.
Some communion dresses over in front of the church. Let's take a walk by the church.
Okay. I'm just throwing up some graphics. We go by the church. There's a little communion action going on. I don't think that's the technical term for it, but communion action.
Our Lady Queen of Angels.
But throw a like at me. Hit a bunch of likes. If you clip into this at any point, just hit the like. It's free. All you gotta do is hit that little thumbs up. It makes a big difference.
Oh, have you seen this thing right here?
I've seen it.
It's a piece of the Berlin Wall that Berlin tried to gift to President Trump, and he refused it.
Wow.
And so.
That's heavy. So this is a new piece for us.
Yeah.
It's a piece of the Berlin Wall that they tried to give us, and Trump refused it.
Yeah.
I don't have to make
LA
any
was
other
like,
comment.
We'll take it.
Yeah.
We need a little lesson about walls.
Wow, that's heavy.
And usually you can walk in the courtyard of a church. I'm going to walk around it because I don't want
Yeah, I
to
don't want to
mess
bother.
with anybody's
Religious,
rituals
yeah.
and events.
I've lit a share of candles in there.
Yeah?
My mother was Mexican, and Catholicism runs deep. So my life is infused with the experience.
I was raised Catholic. I'm an Irish Catholic from Boston.
Right. So nice. It really is. People get a lot of pictures of flowers and trees on my tours. I get stuck on them. I just stare.
Outdoor services now.
Oh. Since there's a ceremony going on, we're walking around the outside. Around the outside. Around the outside. It's an homage to Chef John, one of my favorite YouTubers. But he's have you ever watched Chef John? He's like the YouTuber for cooking.
Oh, yeah?
And there's always those vocal quirks you do, you just can't help. So he says, like when you're gonna glaze the turkey, around the outside, around the outside, around the outside. Oh, it's a christening. Look at that. It's beautiful. I'll try not to be. Oh, she's gorgeous. Look at that dress. That's so beautiful. It's beautiful. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, that's so beautiful. betcha. I got one in my living room. I don't want to get into the religious stuff. Why is this guy even remotely religious? That's for another video. I'm glad you're enjoying. Freddie, thanks for being here. Yeah, we're just roaming, so there's no specific topic. I think the overarching topic might be Black history.
Yeah, I'm doing a little history and trying out, well, since it's the last weekend of Black History Month, focus on that a little bit, but I incorporate it into all my videos.
Sure. Camp, huh?
Little river of people.
Yeah, I saw that a few weeks ago. We're going to go over the 101 freeway and pass by some homeless encampments. May not be a lot of talking going on through there. Be respectful of the neighborhood.
Yeah, that's something, I've had to incorporate to the tours. Like,
Yeah, it's real.
people from other places that don't understand it, why it's happening.
Yeah.
Policy for people and uncomfortable histories is tell the truth.
Yeah, I agree. Don't make it pretty, just make it truthful. Oh, sorry about that.
Get out of here, Gina. Go away.
We're going away.
Go away. I'm not even being right. You there. No, get off. Come on.
I told my mom, don't hang out with me today.
Just tell the truth.
Buenos días. That's good.
So, speaking of churches,
Yeah.
got the cathedral up there on the hill.
So you think the city's gotten used to having that thing yet?
The cathedral?
Yeah.
The Taj Mahoney?
The Taj Mahoney. Look up Cardinal Mahoney. And that's all you need to know about that.
You know what makes a cathedral a cathedral?
I don't. What makes a cathedral a cathedral? This better not be a bad religious joke.
No, you have to have the relics of a saint.
Oh,
Which is a nice euphemism for the body parts.
body parts, yeah. Bones.
Saints tend to be ripped apart, so
Woo!
you just have a section. We're bordering on the
Before or
profane.
after they die? I don't know.
You know which saint we have?
I don't.
Saint Vibiana.
I've never. Oh yeah, I should have known that.
You
I
can
did
walk
know
in there
that.
anytime that the cathedral's open.
It's beautiful in there.
And
I'm showing what a bad Catholic I am. Ooh.
sarcophagus is actually in there. You take a look at it.
By the way, you're looking eastbound at the 101 freeway, and we're walking. For those of you,
One of the silver linings of COVID, no traffic.
yeah. Well, we're walking southbound-ish on Spring Street in downtown Los Angeles at Aliso.
Remember back in April, I had to go over to Santa Monica at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I
A
got
trip
on-
that normally takes hours.
Huh?
A trip that normally takes hours.
Yeah, a trip that takes hours that I do normally pack a cooler for
Sure.
and have considered wearing a diaper. I got there.
Handlebar
in
bike
20
tours. You don't need a diaper, but you can bring it. We won't say anything.
No, I mean that's how bad the traffic
No,
used
I
to
got
be.
you.
It'd take you 2 hours to get to the beach or more. I did it in 20 minutes, and I did the same thing. I'm like live streaming to my friends. I'm going 70 on the 10.
It is incredible when you get a chance to get around on the freeways the way they were hoped to be used, you know, with the kind of time savings that they hoped it would give. I've done that. I have a friend in New York now, Rebecca, and I went to, I don't know what it was, but it was holidays. I can't remember. I think it was Christmas. And somehow we were able to go from Santa Monica to downtown to, you know, east, west, north, south. We did it all in about 30 minutes. It was incredible. There was no traffic.
So, Federal Courthouse over here on the left.
Which is a stately building, intimidating as hell.
Yeah. We got 2 rows of pylons, so nobody busts in with the bomb.
Yeah.
Then across the way, Hall of Justice. That's where the DA.
Looking northbound and turning around, looking west. And this is the what building?
The Hall of Justice. That's where LA County District Attorney.
Mm.
All the attorneys that work for him work. This building over here. You ever done jury duty there?
No, but that's the building, huh?
That's the criminal court. Clara Shortridge Foltz Criminal Court, and Clara, who it's named after, was the first woman to pass the California bar exam.
Mm.
And she actually had to change the law. Women weren't even allowed to take the bar exam. She also pioneered the idea of public defender in Los Angeles.
Now, what decade would that be?
Well, we gotta stuff
Ish.
the tour guide.
All right. That wasn't a stuff the jury. I was just like, I'm genuinely curious.
It was early 1900s.
Early
About that.
1900s. Okay, well that's good to know. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like something that, because the building is very, what, 1970s brutalist.
Yeah. Most people, though, care about the fact that that's where the trial of the century,
Oh,
O.J. Simpson's
yeah,
trial
that's right.
happened. Also,
The
Phil
OJ trial.
Spector,
Phil Spector recently.
Also, Charles Manson.
Oh, there you go.
Have you watched that Night Stalker yet?
No, I lived through all that period.
Yeah, that's true. You were there.
I was there. Yeah, it's strange. I was having a conversation yesterday on a walk with my friend Dina, 38, and was referencing things in the 60s, and I was talking about how, quick story if you don't mind,
Sure.
but back when I was a teenager in high school, at night I used to listen to the CBS Radio Mystery Theater, and they're just hour dramas, radio dramas, and mysteries, and I really enjoy them. They originally aired in 1974. I was listening to them around 1978, 79 when they were rebroadcast. I found them and I'm listening to them again, and it's great because it brings back great memories, and but the archive has, the way they broadcast was immediately after the top of the hour news, and then at the end of the broadcast you'd be the top of the next hour news. They've embedded those into the broadcast. So I'm listening to news broadcasts from 1974. I'll send you some because the parallels are uncanny. Energy crisis. Nixon was being impeached or about to.
Yeah.
I mean, all of the the stuff going on in the Middle East was about, you know, as ripe as it could be.
Yeah, they've been running us on these treadmills, hamster wheels.
It's the same over and over.
So you see that construction site over there?
That's the big one, huh?
Yeah, that's the new Frank Gehry mixed user across from the Disney Hall.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
It's looking more impressive now than I ever thought it.
they're going to have a
Would.
really cool courtyard there.
That's what they
where
say.
They want to do a lot of events, like kind of a centralized party space for Los Angeles.
Yeah. I guess that was Gary's kind of idea to have like a. Originally, I have a Champs-Elysees style.
Yeah, Grand Avenue. Avenue is going to be sort of the centralized point for Los Angeles, which is funny because a lot of people don't even come to downtown.
Right. I'll give them this, but that New Year's event is, I remember going to the first one, and then years later, it's incredibly well attended, and it's a lot of fun. The way they do it, they put it together rather well.
Yeah. So
Let's
we're
roll.
at City Hall,
Okay.
and City Hall was finished in 26, and you've probably seen it in films and movies because it's practically free to film at any municipal building in LA
Oh,
in an effort to try and keep filming here in LA.
right.
I've seen this. I just watched the new King Kong recently, and it was the Supreme Court.
Oh,
just
wow.
The portico. But there's
There was a movie that Dan Aykroyd did and Tom Hanks did, Dragnet, in the 80s.
Yep.
And they do a great shot up front of this in that movie.
Yeah.
That's what we should do, just get a list, and just a listicle, and just do a whole running, like, rapid fire list of all the classic noir.
Yeah. Well, you know what? A lot of younger
All the
people are
movies and
interested
TV
in
shows.
now. They're interested in because of Grand Theft Auto.
Oh yeah.
Not what shows up in films, but what shows up in video games.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's some black history associated with this building.
Yeah.
LA's longest mayor,
Let's go this way just to get a better light.
Yep.
When I look back.
Tom Bradley.
Tom Bradley, LA's longest serving. I shook his hand. It was like shaking the hand of a bear. That was a big man. It was gentle, but he's amazing. I was lucky enough to give him a tour back in the day, in the early 90s.
Oh, really?
And I was completely flummoxed meeting him.
Yeah, you're impressed.
I think he's one of the greatest. All great men are flawed,
Yeah.
and some greatly so. But he was a great man
Yeah.
in my eyes.
So, tower. That's the Tom Bradley room. And anytime that City Hall's open, it's free to go up there. You ever been up there?
I have. The Tom Bradley room, I think, was closed, but I've been up into that little foyer
Yeah. So,
once, only once.
yeah, it's
We'll have
fun.
to do that again.
But Tom Bradley was mayor from 73 to 93, and some interesting stuff about him. When he and his wife got their first home over in Leimert Park,
Right.
they actually had to get a white intermediary to purchase it for them.
Wow.
And then, he goes on to become mayor of LA. He did have a controversial reign, although
Yes.
I'm a fan. And the California Club and the Jonathan
Mhm,
Club.
Yeah.
So these
So,
real old school, old money, private clubs, men's clubs for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And really kind of the political power players all belonged to them. And Bradley was like, I'm not dealing with anybody who is a member of the California Club
Ah.
until they admit African Americans. So there's a lot of important people he needs to, have on his side, and he also, forbade any of his staff who thought they were moving up the ladder from mixing in those circles. It's actually, he's the reason that California Club desegregated.
Mm.
He also was the mayor who pushed for the new light rail, which you enjoyed today. So he got the metro up and going off the ground again after, our streetcar system was torn up decades earlier.
Yeah, amazing.
But the metro we ride today is thanks to him as well. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
Time's building over there.
I guess they'll keep that part.
Deco part. We're going to knock down the 70s edition, which folks from Esoteric are pushing to preserve it, but I don't think it's going to happen.
No, that's a done deal in my eyes.
Yeah.
I get where they're coming from. I don't argue that. But it is a bit of an abomination to
I think so too.
back in the day. I can conceptually, I can see where they were going with this. The
Yeah.
future, the past, they merge.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes car wrecks aren't pretty.
Yeah. So for anybody who's watching, the LA Times isn't located there anymore. Now
In a big
it's-
warehouse-looking building by the airport,
Yeah,
right?
out in El Segundo. And man, their City Hall coverage took a nosedive as soon as they moved away from City Hall.
Yeah, right.
Like, you're hard pressed to find anything the council does these days.
Yeah.
The Times.
And yes, those are homeless people. I just kind of stayed quiet about that while we were around them, out of respect and courtesy for their privacy. But yes, homelessness there's what, 16,000 homeless in?
Oh, way more than that. In LA County, it's estimated between 50 and 60,000.
So in Los Angeles County, it's estimated between 50 and 60,000 homeless people in the county, LA and surrounding areas. And it's really, they've been hit hard in the pandemic.
Yep.
And so that's why we're seeing so many of them in the downtown areas. They're all over the city. I mean, even in my neighborhood, I could go just a block or two and find a homeless encampment. It's a tragedy.
A lot of people ask, like, why is it happening? And obviously, high cost of housing, lack of housing, and then also almost no services for drug addiction or mental illness, unless, I have to explain this to European tourists all the time, like,
Because that's baked into their system.
yeah, our
or the
insurance
society.
is privatized, so you don't have a job, you don't have insurance. Or even if you do have a job, you might not have insurance.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're living on the street, you don't have any insurance. And there's a lot of state aid you can get, but when you have mental illness, you need like one person attached to you for months, making sure you take your meds, you go to your appointments, you fill out all the paperwork. And just like right now, it's all this sort of patchwork of services that keeps people on the street. So we're walking by the LAPD headquarters right now.
Do you happen to know the artist who does these? I don't, and it's something I've decided I'm going to have to learn more about we were talking about this the other day, learn who created the civic art, because we have some amazing artwork in this.
Yeah, I don't know that. You're playing Stump the Tour Guide.
No, I'm just saying this. You know what's great about this is for as much, again, the great thing about learning is one thing at the top of everything is that the more you know, the more you realize how little you know.
Yeah.
And
Now I gotta go home and look it up.
yeah, but then it's in there,
Usually we're flying by on a bike. I can avoid that question.
I'm old. That's my excuse. I don't remember.
They look like butts. Me and my employee used to call them the bean butt skankies.
It's like a Rorschach test. Everybody sees something. But it all comes down to butts. That's a nice blood blur. I'm looking at the crack on that one now. I know that plumber.
Also not on the tour.
What's up, guys? Oh, there. I don't know. They think I got food or something. What's up? Oh, you ready? Is it lunchtime?
I got nothing for you.
I got nothing. What do you guys want to talk about? Well, the reason why I asked you guys here today is because I'd like to talk to you a little bit about Amway products. Hey, where are you going? What? Kids today. That's made me laugh. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about. I used to do that on the Universal Studios tour when we were going inside of like a big building. And I would tell them, like, we're going to see an animation or some sort of presentation inside of a soundstage or some building. Be very dark in there, and I want you guys to keep your hands and arms inside. Be very quiet, because we don't know what's going on in here, but it could be an Amway meeting. got laughs all the time until, of course, you couldn't write this. Everybody starts going, boo, boo. I go, what the hell is going on? They go, we're in town for the Amway convention.
Yeah. So, you know what this construction site is over here?
I know it's part of the regional connector
Yep.
for the
Yeah.
for our subway.
Yeah. So
And this is just one of the entrance points for construction.
So we're gonna have a big metro stop here. Downtown is adding more lines that will run parallel, kind of like New York City.
Right.
So you don't have to go to 7th and Metro, the spoke system. And also the Metro Link, which right now stops at Union Station, which is a little bit of a walk. It's
Yeah.
where it came from.
It's not easy.
Come right into the center of the city now.
Wow. I didn't know that. Metrolink coming right into the downtown.
Yeah, a lot of that is in anticipation of the 2028 Olympics.
Right. Let's hope. I'd like to hopefully be around to be able to enjoy some of this exciting stuff. I heard an old gentleman years ago say the toughest part about getting old is you won't be around to see all these amazing advances into the future. And I certainly feel that.
Tony Sheets. I wonder if he's related to Millard Sheets. Another thing I gotta look up. Makes a
What
lot.
was the question? You saw something and said,
The artist there
Oh.
is Tony Sheets. I wonder if he's related to Millard Sheets, who did very similar reliefs
oh,
like that.
I would bet. You don't see a lot of Sheets. It's not a name I hear often. And we're still going southbound on Spring Street
South on Spring.
at 3rd, coming up on 3rd.
Got a little community garden space over here on the
Oh,
left.
I'm gonna wait till him to go by. Yeah. If I can get up that high. For local residences or businesses? Residences, I guess.
Oh, look, they still have the Councilman Weezer sign up here.
Oh, geez. Ooh. Look at that guy. Ooh, it makes me want
Love
to.
the flower shops. Check out the succulent that's growing up the fence.
Which is not a euphemism. That is. I'm sorry about the shaking and the bouncing. I'm doing something wrong. Again. That's amazing stuff. Alligator.
It smells beautiful. It's honeysuckle.
Honeysuckle.
Oh my
I can't see.
god.
Ooh.
Love the flowers. You always got flowers in
Yeah, you know, after my brain exploded, I've discovered, well, life gets poignant. Life gets poignant when you have those kinds of traumatic experiences, or it can be a result of traumatic experiences. And while I'm out doing my walks, the recovery and therapeutic walks, I found myself entranced by flowers, plants in general, but flowers specifically, in a way that I'd never seen or considered them in my entire life. And they have a profound impact on me, and I'm not entirely sure what that is. I haven't intellectualized it yet, but I am reverent when I look at flowers. especially flowers that are blooming in extraordinary circumstances or conditions.
Metaphorical. Beautiful and
Yeah,
short-lived.
yeah. I don't put words to it. I'll let them do all the talking.
So have you
Oh, sorry. I'm busy being a tourist
heard of
in my own city again.
you heard of Bridgette Mason?
Name rings a bell, yes.
Biddy Mason?
Architect?
Nope.
Oh, then no.
I'll tell you all about her. We get to her car. So now we're on 3rd.
3rd Street going westish
Yep.
towards Broadway.
Yeah.
When I follow the walking tour people, some of them put maps on their screen, some of them just mention where they are, what street, which direction, and I'll look them up on the map.
We're gonna go that way, but let's take a
Okay.
peek at Anthony Quinn.
Oh yeah, I
here.
love this one. One of my favorite murals.
Yeah. Anthony Quinn, the Pope of Broadway.
I'm gonna move over here a little bit.
The building's no longer there. Let's see what their mural used to look like before it was restored.
Oh. Are they leaving that for historical purposes?
Yep.
Has that been preserved?
Because everybody loves it.
Good.
Anthony Quinn.
Oh yeah.
Best friends with the renamed Quinn. He's a Latino actor. He didn't want people to know that
Right.
back in the day. Another reason why his mural was restored. Pay homage to his Latino roots.
The Bradbury Building here, which is historic for so many reasons, and there's so many stories about it. I'll leave that to you. But just a personal story. I back in the '80s had a roommate and friends, one of which her father owned the building, and it was in disrepair. It was a mess.
Yep.
But she went to USC. They threw a Halloween party. I lived in Newport Beach at the time. They threw a Halloween party in this building, chartered a bus for us and her friends to get on the bus, booze it up all the way up here, park on the other side of the building, and go inside for a multi-floor Halloween party and rave.
What?
Music. They even had a one of those large Klieg-like machines, lights going everywhere. It looked like I was in the movie Blade Runner. It was spectacular, and that was my favorite movie. It was a spectacular time. We stayed all night. They didn't have everything renovated yet. Even carpet rolls were still just left in offices, and there's an office on the second or third floor on the corner, and about 5 of us we were in our 20s and we were pretty drunk, and it was cold that time of year. There was no heat on in the building, so we unrolled about 30-40 feet of carpet and then flapped it over, and we all just got into there like a enchilada, a human enchilada, and we all fell asleep in there. But I woke up first in the morning, and it was a drizzly, gray, wet morning. And the only thing that was alive down here was a few cars passing by and some of the homeless people, and Anthony Quinn greeting me in the morning. And it was a really powerful thing because it was such a cinematic experience.
That's
The
kind of amazing.
previous
I've
12
never
hours.
met anybody who got to sleep over at the Bradbury.
Yeah. In one of the corner offices that hadn't been finished yet. It was really something. And every office has a little fireplace.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Very small, but like 1930s deco style.
There's a bunch of the offices in there are USC offices.
Oh, there you go. That makes sense.
And also LAPD Internal Affairs, which is funny because it always shows up in like
And crime, cop shows and crime. Yeah. The famous Bradbury Building. All I say about that, everybody knows it from Blade Runner, but yeah. Where to? Tell me more about Biddy.
So Bradbury Building was built in 18.
That random story brought to you by my brain cells are still firing.
That's pretty
but randomly.
Jealous.
Oh.
A lot of tour guides.
It was a
were
great
jealous.
moment.
We got to sleep over.
Yeah,
have
I
like a
did.
burrito.
It was incredible. I have no idea how we got home. I don't remember anything after that. It was like I just died at that point.
So Lewis Bradbury made his money in the gold rush. Actually died before the building was completed.
Oh. Watch your step, ma'am. Little
So
trip
we're
going on.
coming into a little secret park a lot of people don't know about.
Which I
This is
love.
also Grand Central Market is packed.
Oh yeah, I never thought about coming over here to grab a bite.
Yeah, and bring your stuff
Yeah.
over here to this quiet, tree-shaded
Yeah.
table spot behind the Bradbury. This is also a popular weed smoking spot downtown.
There you go.
Not that I smoke weed anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, everything's all boarded up,
Let's see.
fortunately. So the new owners of the Bradbury applied for a liquor license because they're doing one of those shared workspaces and they have
Yeah.
a bar in there.
Ah. I want to work for that company. I can't remember the name of the company,
You want to be your
but I'd like to be a concierge or something for them.
yeah. So this is Bridgette Mason Park or Biddy Mason Park. And let's scroll along till
Yeah.
we get to her picture because this stuff on the wall is really kind of the Reader's Digest version of an amazing story.
I'd definitely come back and spend some time here.
Yeah. You never been here before?
Never noticed this, and it would just cut through. I've always used it as a cut through.
Okay.
Only a couple of times, actually. It's one of those places where I know it's there.
That's Bridgette Mason or Biddy Mason, and she has an amazing story. So she was born a slave. She walked to California behind a wagon train
Unbelievable.
in the 1840s. Then 1850, when California became a state, it was a free state, her owner tried to take her and her children, who were also slaves, to Texas so that he could sell them.
Wow.
Her daughters had black men that were like, you're free, you don't have to go with this guy. She was, just kind of in that shock of slavery, like, what do
Yeah.
you mean I'm free?
Yeah, that's the only thing I know.
Yeah, but she hired a lawyer to win her freedom. Her owner, actually, her master paid the lawyer more to misrepresent her. There was a court trial where her master testified that she was family and wanted to be with them, wanted to go with them. She could not testify in court because a black person could not testify against a white person.
Right.
Through a long drawn out process, the Santa Monica sheriffs put her in protective custody, essentially jail,
Wow.
until they
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
leave her alone. After she finally won her freedom, she started working as a midwife for a prominent doctor here in downtown LA. And she saved her money, bought little parcels of land. She bought this piece of land that her park sits on.
Wow.
She actually lived here in a home. And by the time she died, she was the equivalent of a millionaire. She used her money for good works too. She essentially started what was a traveler's center. Back in the mid-1800s, people found themselves stranded out here. This was very much like a rough and tumble cowboy town with very little laws. For that reason, or this investment scheme, and find them get established or get. She also started the first school for black children in Los Angeles. The first AME Baptist church down by USC.
Wow. So I have. It didn't sink in because
Yeah.
I heard about her in passing, but this is This is monumental.
Yeah, I would love to see because not only all of that stuff right there, but okay, the Pico house.
Mm-hmm.
He was constantly being defrauded. Every time Los Angeles changed hands,
Mm-hmm.
you know, somebody would show up and be like, I'm the governor now, or I represent Mexico, or I represent Spain, and your land is no longer your land.
Everybody's doing a grab.
Yeah. But she managed to hang on to her land and accumulate more and pass it on to her relatives.
It's one of those examples that there are so many untold stories, the black experience that needs to be expressed. Every time I see a remake of a movie or a sequel to some stupid blockbuster movie, I just think you can make 10 movies about amazing black Americans that have stories that need to be told that will actually make a difference in your life. What I'm looking for right now is just a chord to...
Ava DuVernay, are you listening? Make a movie. Get a green light.
Yeah, talk about a person who's got her plate full. You know, imagine how much she's got available to her that she'll never get done. We need more people
Yeah.
to get involved. It's spectacular, isn't it? And the more you learn about this history, the more hungry you become for it. I dropped the camera down because I'm just grabbing a power cord so I can plug in my battery. Nah, this is just part of the circus here. I'm trying to remember which.
You have to unplug your microphone.
I don't, fortunately, because this dongle that's dangling has an extra port, and I happen to have.
That's got a port. This one. Yeah.
Oh, that's for charging. Yeah, that's good. Thank you, doctor. Surgery. The patient is alive.
Dr. Mason right in front of us. So the name Mason actually comes from where she was born because she didn't know her name.
So Mason was.
Georgia.
Oh, Mason, Georgia, which happens to be my middle name.
Really?
How about that? I'm gonna ruin you with all kinds of personal knowledge. Yeah, my dad. I had this. My dad and I share the same name. He's senior, I'm junior. Or he was senior. I still am junior. There you go. So there's a weight distribution issue going on here. So if you don't mind holding this one more time, I'm just going to undo this and add an extra cord to it. This I'm just practicing. This is all new. New rigging. New ideas for a new frontier. Use your hands, Al. Make them work. There you go. Balance.
So I want us to walk down to Little Tokyo.
Let's do it.
You into it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Little Tokyo. Yeah.
Let's go this way. Or should we show people Grand Central Market? What do you think?
No, let's go to Little Tokyo.
We go to Grand Central Market all the time.
Yeah.
I go there all the time too.
Well, and you know, it's one thing I've.
So I just remembered the bar.
Oh,
We were
it's.
trying to remember.
Don't tell. Public house. Something public house. Clayton's. Clayton's Public House. Owned by Tony and his lovely wife.
One of the owners?
Yes. Dear friends.
Are they going to open up again? I hope so.
I don't know. I'll have to shoot him a note. Haven't seen him post anything for a while.
Yeah, I haven't seen him post anything for a while either, but I love that spot.
Curry House closed in Little Tokyo. I love that place. Yeah, a lot is, you know, sadly things have gone, but new things will come.
The Ronnie Reagan building over here.
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah.
A lot of filming happens right here. They rent out that lot for the studio trucks.
Oh, yeah.
And I always tell people downtown is not the LA you see in movies.
Right.
But it actually is the LA you see in movies. So much filming happens.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're not going to see the Kardashian types and the.
No. We got maps. Help you. Never seen that before. It's helpful.
Historic downtown. Don't show people that. They won't take tours.
Oh, please.
Just kidding. No, that's essentially what tour guides do, right? We do the reading for people.
Yeah.
We do the research. So you
Let's
don't
take
have
the
to.
work out of it and have some fun.
You have a conversation like you're having with the camera.
It's interesting because as there's more followers, there's a lot more interaction. And some streamers do this, they keep it on themselves the whole time. And that's fine. Usually when I stop to eat or something like that, I'll set up the camera and then you can have a really good chat with people hanging in there. But since Wonder Stash is concealed by the
Stash isn't out today.
Wonder mask, I should put that mustache. I have a mustache that I can put on with Velcro. Then people would know it was me.
I don't know about that.
It's really funny. If you haven't seen it, I'll send you a picture of it. But when the pandemic started, it was interesting because people didn't. I'm just another masked face going into Trader Joe's or wherever.
We show people these bike lanes because everybody thinks it's dangerous.
Dangerous.
It's a bike down here.
It is not that. No more dangerous riding a bike in Los Angeles than any other major city. Especially now, they're going through a renaissance of fixing up the streets to accommodate cyclists. It gets better every few months.
I love it.
I'm a scooter guy myself, but
This Main Street one opened up. I took a ride, the inaugural ride with Huizar.
oh, did you?
He's now disgraced. And I was riding next to him and I was telling him about Handlebar bike tours. He's like, where do you want to see next? And I was like, Chinatown, Broadway and Chinatown. There are 0 bike lanes in Chinatown.
Oh, how fantastic.
But unfortunately, he got arrested
Yeah.
before he could do my
But it's
bidding.
nice that, you know, people, it is such a big city, but you can't have that direct contact with your civic leaders and have an impact. I mean, a lot of people might be thinking it, but only a couple of people actually knock on the door like you did and say, hey, this is what would be helpful. Because people like me, we use it. This is our thing. I can help you do this well, and not only you'll look good, but it'll last and be helpful to many.
Shady side.
As it's probably where we belong.
Maybe back in the day, but I think we're pretty tame now.
Yeah,
Happens to the best of us.
I try, but yeah, it's fun. It's interesting seeing how many people don't really evolve over time. Not that everybody should. Everybody does their own thing, but I'm definitely not the guy I was 10 years ago. I wasn't not the guy I was 2 years ago. And sometimes I interact with old friends, longtime friends, especially if I haven't seen them for a while. It just,
We expect you to drink for 2
yeah,
hours straight.
yeah,
like you used to.
yeah. It's just, there's nothing there for me anymore, you know? They've evolved zero. And that's fine. That's, if they're happy with that, that's the life they choose, they live.
Yeah.
They don't feel trapped. But moving on. I like this stuff. What we're doing today. We're going north now on, is this?
Main, we're on Main.
Oh, Main Street. North on Main Street, coming up on 2nd Street, heading to Little Tokyo.
Nice bike lane over there.
Mhm.
This building right here has the Edison bar in it. Been in there? You've been in there. That's your,
Oh, that building. Yeah.
probably your wheelhouse, right?
Yeah, I think it was there opening night, and I went there for a Halloween party after that, and then I don't really have only been there a couple of times.
I hope they reopen. It's a fun spot.
Oh, I love this place. Little Llama Tacos. And they have a bunch of llamas in there. Can you see them?
Yeah.
Inflatable llamas, not real ones. I don't know if you can see them.
So
Flowers and llamas.
this is where St. Viviana used to live.
This is the original cathedral of Los Angeles, right?
Yeah, this is St. Viviana's Church. Now it's an event space owned by Redbird, which is around the corner.
Do you want to hear a party story I had in here?
Sure, why not? Sounds dirty.
It does, but through my previous job, there was a big downtown LA street party, 4 or 5 blocks, and this was one of the areas that was blocked off, and I knew it was the old cathedral, and it was about to be opened as an event place. Good look, I'm corded up. I could get oh, sorry. But yeah. But yeah, again, they had those searchlights inside the center of the place. The DJ was at the altar, and there were no pews anymore in the building because that's the open event space. But the confessionals were still along the wall. And
oh God, I don't like where this story is
it was a
going now.
rave of raves. I mean, techno music like crazy, lights everywhere, and people making out in the in confessionals,
Stop,
like
stop.
unbelievable. It was like this isn't happening, and it was a lot of fun, but it was surreal. It was surreal.
Well, another thing I always tell people on the tour: our churches are nightclubs, and our nightclubs are churches.
That's right. That's a great line. I think I'm going to go in the archives. I think I took photographs while I was in there, as we used to call them. I took pictures.
You know, Hillsong's been moving around. Recently, they're at the Mayan.
Is this, before I get back to that, this is the
The other side of the LAPD
yeah,
building.
one of the newer-ish buildings.
Yeah. And then Big Pointy City Hall.
Yeah.
The big gray one is the Department of Transportation. And my corny tour guide joke is usually, you can tell which one's more important to us in Los Angeles by the size of the building,
Yeah. Well, true. Right?
keeping the cars moving.
Yeah. Wow. It's heavy stuff. You got a lot going on in that bean, girl. It's good stuff.
I'm like the annoying Cliff Clavin friend.
This constant social reminder. I interrupted you, and you were going to say that something's at the Mayan now.
The Hillsong Church.
Oh, something I'm not familiar with.
So that's why. Oh, it's the Justin Bieber Church.
Man, I am so lost.
Liberty Church.
Oh,
But the Mayans a nightclub.
right, gotcha.
Our nightclubs are churches, and churches are nightclubs.
Making sense now.
Then we got Redbird right here.
Redbird. What do you think? Do you like it? Do you not like it?
Oh, we're from here.
We're locals.
I'm just giant.
Oop.
Everybody thinks I'm like that I'm Swedish or something.
Oh,
Sometimes I just tell them I am.
yeah.
Make them happy.
You're very pleasant with people. I'm like, hi, and keep walking. I used to be a charming man. I'm just a grumpy old video guy. But
That's how I end up with friends like you.
oh,
Nice to everybody until they prove me wrong.
yeah, yeah.
And then still keep being friends.
Wait a minute.
Oh, really?
Redbird, yeah. Thumbs up, thumbs down. What do you think?
I love it. It's really fancy though.
I went in there once and I was like not impressed, so I'll go again. I'll go with
There's
you.
a beautiful garden, but Marco and I used to go for their happy hour because, as my mom likes to say, I've got champagne taste and beer money.
Yes, beer money.
So we go in for the cheap happy hour, have a couple snacks and drinks, and pretend like we're rich bitches.
Yeah, I got you. There's nothing wrong with that. That's. So this is 3rd Street going east at Los Angeles.
Yep.
Walking into Little Tokyo.
Oh, you know what else is gone? So sad. The blue whale. You ever been there?
No. Oh, no, no.
One of Los Angeles's premier jazz joints.
Oh,
Closed
okay.
its doors,
I heard about this place and I'd wanted to go. You may not know this about me, but my favorite music in the whole world is straight ahead jazz.
Oh yeah?
Old school.
Modal? Modal jazz?
Yeah, Stan Getz, that kind of stuff. And very hard to find. It had its moment in the 80s. I got a whole jazz story I'll tell you some other time.
Have you
I'm tired of hearing my own voice.
you watched the Bosch series on Amazon yet?
Can I walk around behind this guy?
Sure.
I have not watched Bosch.
You should watch it.
I hear that a lot.
It takes place all over Los Angeles, and Harry Bosch, the main character, is a jazz lover, so there's a lot of good music in it. So the Blue Whale used to be in Weller's Court there.
Oh. Yeah, I did not know that. Ooh, look at this nice place. It looks so good. I have no business for them. My head is bald.
I don't know. You get that stash. You don't let people touch it.
Don't touch my stash. The problem is I'd love to have someone do it, but once you start winning your awards and blah blah blah, you're like, well, if whatever I'm doing is getting all the medals, I better keep doing that. Don't let anybody touch it. I am number 2 in the nation for the Musketeer mustache this year.
Number 2 Musketeer.
Yes,
So you're one of the 3.
I am. I was number 1 for 4 years, so we got to relinquish it at some point. Nobody stays on top forever. But I'm number 1 in New Zealand for the mustache.
Well,
And then, oh my goodness, look at all that good food. Look at that. Look at that. It looks so good. It's incredible. We're gonna have to get some pizza.